Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we have another NBA mock draft. We're getting closer to the draft, it's time to get these last two in. This one's going to be an NBA mock draft if I was the GM of every NBA team. The next one, which is going to be the day before the NBA draft, is going to be my official prediction of the 2024 NBA draft. This one should definitely be exciting. I'm going to be going to the draft this year, so get to see some of these prospects in real life. It would be cool to see them, get called up. But let's focus on this. I'm the GM of every NBA team. This is not going to be the consensus, not who everyone else thinks will go. It's just going to be my opinion, solely my opinion. So whether or not you guys agree on this, put it in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe. Go into the description to make your video ideas, and let's get right into it. Also want to say, in this video, I'm going to have to ask you guys, because these mock drafts do end up getting the most views, so most likely the most comments as well. I'm going to ask you guys to put your NBA draft hot takes in the comments below. We're going to be doing another hot take video, just like we did a couple, 2 months ago, 1 month ago, with the NBA playoff hot takes. Now it's time for the NBA draft hot takes. Put your hot takes in the comments below, and let's get right into this one. With the first overall pick, we have the Hawks. In real life, the consensus is probably going to be Alex Sarr, maybe Zachary Sachet, maybe Donovan Clingan. But in this one, I'm still going to end up going Alex Sarr. In my offseason plan for the Atlanta Hawks, I had them take Alex Sarr in the draft. I had them trade for Brandon Ingram for DeJounte Murray, trade Clint Capella in that deal as well. And it's time to retool this roster because they need a new foundation. I like the start of Trae Young, Brandon Ingram, Jalen Johnson, Alex Sarr, Onyeka Okongwu for that starting lineup next year. I think they can be solid, can maybe be a playoff team, maybe a play-in team. I hope this team goes from around the 4 seed to the 6 seed. But you never know. I think it's good that they ended up getting this first overall pick to start building a new foundation. And with this first overall pick, it's looking like they will end up trading either Trae Young or DeJounte Murray. They're definitely going to end up trading Clint Capella, though. So we'll see what they do going into the draft. At pick 2, we have the Washington Wizards. The consensus is Zachary Sachet, and unfortunately, I'm going to go with that as well. Kyle Kuzma looks like he will end up being traded by next season. So if they get rid of him, Sachet can be a great replacement. If they keep Kyle Kuzma, Sachet can be a fine backup. I think he has a similar play style to Kyle Kuzma, so you can have a little bit of a flawless transition there. But I do like Zachary Sachet too. They do have a couple of wings there in Corey Kispert, Bilal Coulibaly, Denny Avdia, but I think Sachet would slide in perfectly to that 3 position between Coulibaly and Avdia for the future. I like the fit at 2, Zachary Sachet. He has a good chance to go number 1 as well. At pick 3, we have the Houston Rockets. Usually I trade this pick, but in this mock draft, we're going to be doing no trades. So I'm just going to stick and pick with Reed Sheppard. He can be a great connecting piece at that too. Whether or not they decide to give Jalen Green rookie max extension, we'll see. I doubt they give it to him, but if they do, then I guess that's what happens. They're going to be buying into Jalen Green for the future. Those last couple months of the season, he was really good though. But yes, Reed Sheppard here at 3. If they decide to move on from Jalen Green, he could slip right into that shooting guard position. If not, he could be a great role player for them. He could be probably something what Derek White brought to the Celtics this season. I know that's one of the more popular comparisons, but I do think Reed Sheppard has solid defensive upside. He's one of the best shooters in this draft. He's a good passer. He's a good hustle player all around. He does all the right things you want to see on the NBA court or on a basketball court in general, and he'll be a great fit to the Rockets at pick 3, a team who's looking to start contending. At pick 4, we have the Spurs. I know the consensus is probably Stephon Castle, and I'm still going to go with that. Obviously, we know Greg Popovich is a defensive-minded coach, so getting what I think is the best, or who I think is the best perimeter defender in this draft will help them a lot. I have Stephon Castle over Ron Holland and Ryan Dunn. I think Holland is definitely a close second. Ryan Dunn, I consider him more of an all-around defender. I think Ryan Dunn is the best defender in this class. But when it comes to the perimeter, I would go ahead and say Stephon Castle. He's going to be my pick at 4 for the Spurs. Whether or not he plays full-time point guard, we'll see, but I think he's going to fit very well into that Greg Popovich defensive system. At 5, we have the Pistons, and I think this is going to be my first kind of outlandish one. I'm going to go ahead and take Don't Connect out of Tennessee. There's no reason that this 14-win Pistons team should look to draft another player who has a low floor and high ceiling. They just don't need that anymore. You have Cade Cunningham. That's your building piece. That's your franchise player. That's your starting point guard. You have Jaden Ivey. We'll see what he does for the future. Is he going to be your future shooting guard? Is he not? We'll end up seeing. At small forward, we have Ausar Thompson. So let's go ahead and get a guy with a high floor, maybe a lower ceiling, even though it's kind of tough to determine ceilings with NBA players. Like, how do you know if a player is going to be an all-star? How do you know if he's not going to be an all-star? You can't really foretell that. But don't connect here at 5. It's kind of going to give them back what they lost in Bojan Bogdanovic, and in my opinion, it can bring them even more than what he was doing, because I think Don't Connect's a better defender at the NBA level than I think what Bojan Bogdanovic brings. I think Don't Connect's a lot more athletic than Bojan Bogdanovic for sure. Shooting, obviously, I'd give that to Bogdanovic, but all-around game, I'm probably going to end up going Don't Connect, especially because he's going to be 23 years old, and Bogdanovic is, what, 34, 35? So I end up getting 13 years younger and possibly the same player. That's a great trade-in for the Detroit Pistons. And I think at 5, it's perfect for them to get a player who can win right away for them. So great pick for the Pistons at 5. At 6, we have the Hornets. My usual guy I like to give them is off the board here in Stephon Castle. So I'm going to have to end up going with another guard or maybe forward to stick in between either LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller, or Brandon Miller and Mark Williams. On the board right now that I like Ron Holland to them. I could like Matas Buzelis as well. And I think with this pick at 7, I would rather, or at 6, excuse me, I would rather them go with a forward than go with a guard. I think they should move on from Miles Bridges this offseason. And with that, go ahead and draft Matas Buzelis with the 6th overall pick. I want them to look in free agency and sign a guard or a 3-and-D shooting guard to stick next to LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is a player I like a lot for this team. I think he could definitely propel them into the play-in conversations, maybe an 8-7 seed to try to get in into the first round. But Matas Buzelis is a guy that I think doesn't have to start right away, can sit behind Grant Williams, sure. And if he outplays Grant Williams, then go ahead and start him. But he's a high ceiling guy. He's a guy that I kind of trust with the 3-point shot. I know a lot of I don't know if a lot of teams know that, but in high school, obviously, he was a good 3-point shooter. In Ignite, not as much. But I do trust that 3-point shot, and I hope it does translate to the NBA, because he can end up being the best player in this draft class. At pick 7, we have the Portland Trail Blazers. Usually, I give them Donovan Clingan, and I love the team player fate here. But in this mock draft, let's buy into DeAndre Ayton. Let's say he does end up becoming the solid center piece that we want for this Portland Trail Blazers team. So that means giving up on Donovan Clingan and probably looking for more of a 4/3 guy that we can plug into the rotation. For their future, are they looking to keep Anthony Simons? Are they looking to keep Malcolm Brogdon? Probably not Brogdon. We'll see what happens with Simons. So I'm going to go with their future small forward possibly here in a guy of Ron Holland. I personally think he should go a lot higher in this draft, but a lot of people have him going lower and have him sticking around this 7 range. I think there's a real chance he can go 3 to the Rockets. I think there was a chance he can go 2 to the Wizards, but I'm going to have him go 7 here to the Portland Trail Blazers. And future 1 through 3 of Scoot Henderson, Shaedon Sharpe, and Ron Holland gets me very excited, especially if they're able to shoot the 3-point ball. Sorry for that real quick. But at pick 8, we do have the San Antonio Spurs. With the their first pick, we gave them Stephon Castle out of UConn. With the second pick, I'm still going to end up going guard here, Nikola Topic. I know Stephon Castle's camp mentioned he wanted to play point guard at the next level. I'm not really going to worry about that. Evan Mobley did something similar in 2021, and the Cavs still drafted him to play that power forward position next to Jared Allen. So I'm saying that the San Antonio Spurs pick Stephon Castle to be that 2/3 guard, or whatever you want to say, him and Devin Vassell, and go ahead and take their franchise guy, Nikola Topic. Can Topic fall down the boards a little bit with his knee injuries and his injury scares in the past? For sure. But I'm going to buy into that point guard, the one we've been scouting all season, and now that he still has that potential to be this team's future point guard, and possibly average 10 plus assists per game in setting up Victor Wembanyama, our cornerstone. So I like that pick at 8 for the San Antonio Spurs. It's nice to see them get their new backcourt for the future. And with Stephon Castle, Nikola Topic, Devin Vassell, I guess we can figure out that power forward position, whether it's Jeremy Sohan and then Victor Wembanyama at the 5. This team has a nice foundation for the future. And I didn't even mention, it could also possibly make a trade. Who knows? At pick 9, we have the Memphis Grizzlies. This should not be a question at all. If Donovan Clingan's on the board for them, and in my personal, if I was every team's GM, he is still on the board, you have to take him at 9. Whether or not he starts right away, We lost Steven Adams last year, and it's time to get not only his replacement, but possibly your new cornerstone starting center. Will he be able to work next to Jaren Jackson? I'm going to say yes. Jaren Jackson, I don't think has averaged more than 7 rebounds a game in his career yet, which is surprising because he's a 7-foot big man. But it's time to put a guy in Donovan Clingan next to him at the 5, who we know can also block shots, probably not spread the floor, but be a force of nature in the paint where no guard is going to want to drive in on him. And the Donovan Clingan, Jaren Jackson Jr. front court for the future is insanely scary defensively. At 10, we have the Jazz. And I know you guys see Rob Dillingham falling down a little bit. I'm going to be honest, I'm not as high on him as other NBA teams are. So I'm actually going to have him keep on falling here at 10. And I'm probably going to go with a different guy. Can maybe look at a Devin Carter here at 10. Can maybe look at a Jared McCain, Jacoby Walter. And I'm actually going to go ahead and give them Isaiah Collier here at pick 12. I'm not gonna go Cody Williams. I think if you were to draft Cody Williams at this, whether it's 9 to 14 range, you draft him to be your starting small forward or power or shooting guard. I think for this team specifically, though, I like the idea of having Markkanen, Hendricks, and Walker Kessler for that team's future 3 through 5. I don't think you should trade Lauri Markkanen despite him going to be asking for a new contract. I think it's time to get our future point guard here on Isaiah Collier. I know that Keyonte George did show flashes of playmaking last year, but I still trust Isaiah Collier more as a lead guard and Keyonte George as a combo guard. This should work out very well for the Utah Jazz. Isaiah Collier is a great playmaker. He's a stocky guy at 6'4", 200 plus pounds. It's a guy that the Utah Jazz can definitely use with his defensive-minded presence as well. And just his overall solid basketball abilities at pick 11, at pick 10, should be solid for the Utah Jazz. I think some people have Isaiah Collier a little bit lower on their board than what he should be. At pick 11, we do have the Chicago Bulls. Now for the Bulls here at 11, I usually end up giving them Dalton Knecht because I believe they should end up, I believe that they're looking to continue to try to build around the core of Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. But in my belief, I think it's time to blow this up. And the best way to blow this up is to get a new, future, young, high potential player. So I'm not going to take a guy like Jared McCain. I'm not going to take a guy like Rob Dillingham, two guards that I don't think will be able to coexist with Ayo Dosunmu and Coby White. So instead, I'm actually going to take that forward position. I like the idea of Cody Williams. I like the idea of Tidjane Salaam, and I'm probably going to end up picking between those two players. And here at pick 11, I'm going to go with someone who I believed was going to be one of the best prospects coming into the season in Cody Williams. Watching him throughout the season, he was one of my favorite college basketball players to watch in general, just to scout. He was extremely solid at Colorado. He didn't make too many mistakes. He didn't shoot the ball so much, which I think is something that NBA teams can note. He barely shot threes, and even then, he shot it at a high clip. So I think at 11 for the Bulls, trying to go into a new mode, a rebuilding mode, rebuilding around Coby White, Ayo Dosunmu, Cody Williams, maybe Patrick Williams. We'll see what happens there. But I think that this Bulls team should look to blow it up for sure. By DeMar DeRozan, by Zach LaVine. DeRozan's a free agent, so I guess either re-sign and trade him or just let him go. And Zach LaVine, let's get rid of him right away, because we do not want those injury concerns on our team for the future. At pick 12, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, two things that the Thunder were lacking this season, which I think was pretty apparent going into the postseason, was rebounding and bench guard scoring. I like Cason Wallace a lot off the bench. I don't know if he could be your go-to guy, though. That's just my opinion. So I'm going to look for a guard off the bench who I know can be able to score the ball. That's kind of Rob Dillingham. Or I'm also going to look at a big man who's able to rebound the ball. Could be Yves Missi, could be Zach Edey. Kel'el Ware, probably a little bit less. But there are a couple of big men that I'll be willing to draft with this Thunder team at pick 12. And I think with the potential departure of Josh Giddey this offseason, I'm going to go ahead and take, I think, Rob Dillingham here at pick 12. He's a guy that would be considered a steal at this pick, and he's going to be drafted a lot higher in real life. But me, personally, I don't like his defensive abilities at all. I think at 6'1", only 164 pounds, he's going to be an extreme liability on the defensive side of the ball. It's going to be hard to hide him, I think it's fair to say. He's not an offensive talent like a Trae Young, so he can't really be your go-to guy right away for this Oklahoma City Thunder team. So it's going to be hard to find his footing right away in the NBA for sure, especially if he's not going to be extremely efficient going into it. Obviously, Rob Dillingham's probably the funnest player to watch in this NBA draft, but it's definitely hard to scout him seriously when his defense is that bad. And maybe it was the John Calipari system, maybe it wasn't, I don't know, I guess we'll see going into the NBA next season, but that's just the fact that his defense is not going to be able to stick right away. At pick 13, we have the Sacramento Kings. I'm going to go ahead and get their Malik Monk replacement here in Jared McCain. Guard who does not have to play on ball at all, can play off ball, can catch and shoot, can drive to the basket. I think he's going to be a great catch and shoot guy right away for this Sacramento Kings team, and hopefully having playoff aspirations next year. Jared McCain can help boost you into the playoffs. At pick 14, we have the Portland Trailblazers. I'm going to go ahead and give them, probably going to look between a forward or a big man with this pick. I like the idea of possibly bringing Kel'el Ware to this Portland Trailblazers team. I also like the idea of maybe getting Tejan Salon, maybe a Tristan da Silva, maybe even a Jacoby Walter. And with the 14th overall pick here, I know he did not have a good combine at all, but the word is that he's been performing pretty well at the draft or at the pre-draft workouts. So here at 14 for the Portland Trailblazers, can be a big man who can stretch the floor right away for you. Guard positions 3 through 5. Hopefully, we'll see how well he's able to stack up against some of the centers in the NBA. But overall, I like his ability to stretch the floor, especially for this Portland Trailblazers team who does lack shooting and should be a nice plug-and-play player for this Blazers team going to next season. I hope he's able to get ample minutes. At 15 for the Miami Heat, should be no question. Heat culture, you know everything about it. There's no way Devin Carter should fall past the Heat at 15. This right here is his floor. He should not go past 15 at all. At 16 for the Philadelphia 76ers, we're going to look at a guy who can help us win right away because we're trying to make a NBA Finals push with this core right now. That core really just being Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. Are they going to go ahead and sign a Paul George in this year's free agency? Maybe. Whether or not they do that, they need a guy who can help them win right away. And that, my friends, is Tristan da Silva. Yeah, I think he's one of the most underrated players in this draft class. I think he could very well go into the lottery. And I actually think at pick 16 for the 76ers team, this can be considered a steal. At 17 for the Lakers, I think they should look to target big man in free agency, and for that reason, I'm going to be giving them a guard in this mock draft. It's going to be Bub Carrington out of Pittsburgh. I think they could very well go big man, and I think that's one of the pieces they're looking to draft for sure. But with D'Angelo Russell being a free agent, with D'Angelo Russell and Spencer Dinwiddie being a free agent, this team needs to look for more younger guard depth. Make it feel a little bit better that they lose possibly those two guys in free agency. I think they want to end up bringing D'Angelo Russell back though. And yeah, it's time to just start young again, get Bub Carrington, and hopefully build for this second fold of the future for this Los Angeles Lakers team. At 18 for the Orlando Magic, I'd like to see them get shooting or maybe big man. I know Jacoby Walter's on the board, but I kind of have my doubts with his game right now. So I'm actually going to go big man here at pick 18, and it's going to be Yves Missi out of Baylor. Can possibly be your Wendell Carter replacement, but I think he has a very high ceiling. I think he's actually one of the higher ceiling players in this draft class. I think he could possibly be a Clint Capella light type of player. So at 18 for the Magic, I think we could possibly see them get a steal here. At 19 for the Toronto Raptors, I think I'm gonna go ahead and forego the likes of Jacoby Walter. I'm definitely a little bit lower on him than most guys. And I'm actually going to go with Tejan Salon here at pick 19. I think they're going to have a lot of opportunities to pick big man again at pick 31, whether it's a Dembona, what if Zach Edey falls there, maybe even a Kel'el Ware. So Deron Holmes as well, he's definitely a guy that I can name there. So they're not going to have to go with a specific center right here at pick 19. They could wait till 31, and I think Tejan Salon is a high ceiling, low floor type of player, but that's exactly what the Toronto Raptors are looking to pick here going into their rebuild. At pick 20, I think this is going to be the end of the slip of Jacoby Walter. I'm going to have him go 20 to the Cleveland Cavaliers. A lot of questions in that backcourt right now, whether or not they decide to move the likes of Darius Garland or Donovan Mitchell You know, Jacoby Walter just gives you a surefire backup guard, or maybe even a starter guard. But we'll see what happens with this team. But yeah, it just gives them more guard depth, something that they definitely need considering we don't know what's going to happen to their two starting guards going into next season. At pick 21, we have the Pelicans, and I think their overwhelming two biggest needs is definitely big man and lead guard. And with the top guards already being off the board, you know, they could take Tyler Kolek, but I think at 21 is probably a tad bit too high. With the top guards being off the board, like Jacoby Walter, like Bub Carrington, Devin Carter, McCain, Dillingham, and the guys up top, they're going to look and take a big man here. I'm going to look at the guys like Kel'el Ware and Zach Edey, and I think at 21, we're going to go ahead and take Kel'el Ware here. They miss a guy who's able to stretch the floor at that big man position. Valanciunas did it to an extent. Jackson Hayes a couple years ago didn't really do it. And yeah, it's time to build around that new core of maybe DeJounte Murray and Zion Williamson and the other shooters around those guys like Trey Murphy III, Herb Jones. I mean, obviously he's definitely a good defender, an amazing defender as well, but he shot over 40% from three last season. Jordan Hawkins. They have a lot of fun players on that team, and I think getting Kel'el Ware will make that team not more fun, but also just a better team in general. At 22, we have the Suns. You know, give me Zach Edey here. Why not? This is a team that's looking to win right away. They're most likely going to trade the pick in real life, but since we're still here, let's go get the best college basketball player last season. At 23, we have the Bucks. I think you're probably a team who's a bit mad that Zach Edey's not on the board. It's definitely a team that I can see them, or I can see pick him here at 23. We could look at a couple different guys here. Some guys I'm a little bit higher on than other guys, or than other analysts are Jalen Tyson. I like a lot. Johnny Furphy, I don't think will fall too low, but it looks like I'm doing it again in this mock draft. DaRon Holmes, I love a lot. I think I might even go him here at 31. Cam Christie, I think, could be a first rounder. Baylor Shireman as well. Terrence Shannon Jr., congrats on beating the allegations. Hopefully he gets into the first round. And I think with this 23rd overall pick, Phil, I'm going to go ahead and take DaRon Holmes. You know, big man out of Dayton. I have him better than big man like Kyle Filipowski, like Oso Ighodaro. I just think overall, DaRon Holmes is a more complete package. Guy who's able to stretch the floor, put the ball on the ground, and I think will translate very well to the NBA level. At 24 for the Knicks and 25 for the Knicks, I think this is a team that will 100% trade their first round picks. But with their two picks, I'm going to go ahead and give them Jalen Tyson here at 24, and at 25, the defensive beast in Ryan Dunn. We know Tibbs is our head coach, so we have to get a defensive guy there. And for at 24 for Jalen Tyson, it's just a matter of fact of them wanting guys who are able to do it all on the court. Jalen Tyson can maybe do something similar to what we saw Josh Hart do, probably do it to a lesser extent. And I think that Jalen Tyson is a better scorer. But I like the idea of bringing Tyson to New York and the Knicks continuing to compete going into next season. Wizards here at 26. Really no reason Johnny Furphy should still be on the board here. I think he can go as high as 18 to the Orlando Magic. But it looks like I'm going to continue to have him slip. Guys I like here at 26 for them. Pacom Gadiet, I like a lot. Cam Chris, Nikola Durisic possibly. Anyone a little bit lower. I do like guard here. KJ Simpson out of Colorado. Actually, Ethan Alonzo is someone I'm going to have to actually take out of this draft board because he's deciding to stay another year and declare for the 2025 draft. So here at pick 26, I think I'm going to end up going, I'm actually end up going Keyshawn George, a nice young high potential guard for this Wizards team. With the first pick, I gave them, actually, you know what? I'm gonna actually go back on this pick. I know I did just end up giving them Keyshawn George, but you know what? Give me the lead guard, maybe the best lead guard in this draft, and give me Tyler Kolek here at pick 26. I know I did say he's the best lead guard in this draft. You have Nikola Topic as well, but honestly, what we saw last year out of Tyler Kolek and how their team performed with him compared to without him, give me Tyler Kolek right now. But yes, Tyler Kolek here at pick 26. One of the best passers. He was the best passer in college basketball last season. He's one or two in this draft class this season. It's in Nikola Topic. And for a team that's looking for a lead guard with possibly losing Tyus Jones, not trusting Jordan Poole, Kyle Kolek can definitely bring that to the Wizards at pick 26. At pick 27, we have the Timberwolves. They're definitely a team that's very mad. Kolek is off the board. But instead, I think we still could give them guard here. Keyshawn George, I kind of want to look for more of a solid point guard here. Could maybe look at AJ Mitchell, but I'm actually going to go ahead and give them KJ Simpson, someone who I think shined during the scrimmages of the combine. I think he's definitely worked himself in the late first round talks, and he's also a feisty small point guard. Maybe something similar to what we see in Mike Conley last season. I think KJ Simpson will come in being a solid scorer. He should be a good passer, average 5 assists in college, and also 6 rebounds in college, being only 6'2". That's very impressive as well. At 28, let's get this done very quick. No reason for if he should still be on the board. So getting him to the Nuggets at pick 28, absolute steal. Easy pick for the Nuggets here at 28. Gets them guys who can come in and bring them great shooting right away. At pick 29, I might do something a little bit different than what I've done before. I usually give this team wing here later. Can look at maybe a Keyshawn George. Could look at a, who else is here? Pacome Dadiet. I kind of like the idea of getting a Dembona here at pick 29. This is personally who I think not should go, but who I think would be interested to go here at pick 29. This Jazz team does need more big depth. Right now, after Walker Kessler, they don't really have a set guy at that 5 position. You do have John Collins. We'll see how he is for the future. But for a Dembona, he's a stocky guy. He's only 6'9", but he's extremely muscular, as you can see in the picture. Can set amazing screens, will dive for the loose balls, will catch the lobs. He's like a freak of nature running on that court. He's just a bowling ball. And I think for this Jazz team, a guy who's able to run and grab some rebounds, set great screens, be an enforcer on both sides of the ball could be very fun for that Jazz team going forward. I like the pick there at 29. At 30, we have the Boston Celtics. I still have Keyshawn George on the board, and he's actually one of my favorite players in this draft class. So him actually falling or potentially falling out of the first round, it's kind of crazy to me. I don't love Kyle Filipowski at all, so you know what? He's out of the first round. Maybe Kevin McCullough, maybe Bobby Clintman. No, give me Keyshawn George. Do the Celtics need a younger guard who's not going to be good right away? Will we G League ridden? No. Will he be similar to the outcome of Romeo Langford? Hopefully not. But I think Keyshawn George, it's just an exciting guy to have the Celtics there at 30. That was kind of just a throw-in. But, I think he's a guy who will definitely be a first rounder. So I didn't want him to fall out of the first round for that specific reason. So here's the mock draft. I didn't mean to click on Cody Williams here. Tell me what you guys think about it down below. It's who I personally think would be drafted if I was the GM of every team. Looks like I gotta plug in the computer quickly, so let's get this outro done. Some guys I think was a little higher than usual. Dalton Connect for sure. King was a little bit lower. Other than that, honestly, maybe Tyler Smith is a little bit higher, but other than that, it's kind of regular. Thanks for watching this mock drafts, and hope you guys enjoy it. See you next time. Peace.